Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. This week, we said farewell to Jax Taylor and almost to Tamra Judge, too, because the Orange County cast trip to New Orleans absolutely exploded, and Tamra and Katie's feud is getting worse by the second.
Oh my God. The iconic naked wasted scene from 15 years ago, the golden years of OC, the sky top years. It has come back around, you guys, and there's some major accusations being thrown. I can't wait to hear whose side you're on with this because I feel like I'm still processing in real time.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to unpack. Plus, the Valley reunion ended with part three. And let's just say Janet's Karen energy really came out during this part. So we got to get into it all.
All right, we're going to talk about all the drama. But before we do, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news.
Okay, so let's start with the Valley first, shall we? There are a few topics I want to cover. The first of which is kind of where we started part three off, and that is Brittany saying that one of the examples of Danny, being inappropriate once again was at her birthday party. She felt uncomfortable basically because Danny was drunk once again, and while he didn't touch her do anything, he was being flirtatious and following her around. Now, we believe women here. We try to, at least. And if Brittany says she was uncomfortable, I get it. But they're trying to compare this and say that he's been doing the same thing over and over again, meaning that he touched somebody inappropriately, but that is not what's happening. So I don't know. They keep reiterating there's more than just what happened with Melissa and Jasmine, but where's the proof? Where's the receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots? There is no other example of him actually doing this. And I just feel like it's getting out of control at this point.
Yeah, and you could tell that Brittany was not going to bring this up. She never intended to bring this up. Janet was like, well, it happened at Brittany's birthday. Or no, who said it? And then Michelle said Brittany felt uncomfortable by Danny's behavior. And Brittany's kind of like, well, he was like, his personality changes when he drinks, and he was like following me around, like being really flirty. And I get that. I get when it feels like awkward and it's like that's your friend's husband, like he probably shouldn't be acting that way. But I don't think it didn't seem like something that she lost sleep over by any means. And here's what I'll say. I think it has become clear that Danny probably just needs to not drink when he goes out because there is a pattern of him being overly flirty, I guess. That's just his drunk alter ego. And so if he doesn't want this stuff to be thrown out there, then he just needs to dial it back. You know what I mean? And make it a non-issue, because sober Danny is very respectful, is, adores his wife, and he just needs to stick to that.
And then, which is it? Because we also have Jason saying, well, everybody, in this reunion has a drinking problem. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Where is that even coming from? He's trying to, kind of pedal back. And I just cannot get over the fact that they are saying all of these things to Danny. And not once has anybody brought up the terrible things that Jax Taylor has done. I mean, we are literally they literally just brushed under the rug the fact that Jax threw Brittany in the rose bushes, and that's caught on camera.
Right. Where was that ring footage? Brittany says it exists.
Well, that is physical assault. And nobody's talking about that. According to Andy, he's just like, okay, let's switch gears. You know what I mean? They just didn't even talk about that. Meanwhile, the sexual assault that Danny did is something that they are clinging on to. Why can't we hold everybody to the same standard? Why is it, let's cancel Danny?
Right. You know what else I'll say? So one of our viewers brought up a very good point in the comments. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. But she said last year, Janet was so upset by Zach, and she was like, he's stressing me out. I'm pregnant. I can't deal with this. and expected everyone to have her back in that moment. Yet here she is sitting on the couch. Nia is like 9 months pregnant at this point, and she's accusing her husband of sexual assault, yelling at them, getting Nia all riled up. Like, that's the same thing, So where's the grace when it comes to Nia being pregnant?
There are so many like double standards on this show. It's really starting to irk me. But I don't know. Speaking of like double standards and Janet, let's get into like the ring rumors and the definition, legal term of it all, because that also sent me into a spiral.
Yeah, I mean, Janet tries to downplay like the tattoos. Oh no, it was just, kind of like a fun thing for us to do. It wasn't to dispel any rumors. And Kristen brings up, she's like, no one talked about this except for you. Like, I brought it up and I said, I'm sorry. Like, I was just being an asshole in that moment. Like, no one really believed it. You guys are the ones that kept talking about it, kept perpetuating it, and made it into a bigger thing. She's like, no offense, but if you didn't talk about it, the fans would not care. Like, no one cares enough about you guys. And Janet basically kind of backs herself into a corner where Kristen's like, exactly, you said you're saying it to stay relevant. And I think that's kind of true. I think Janet really enjoys being in the spotlight, whether she will ever admit it or not. And I think based on like what Kristen is saying, which I do believe that Janet, changed a lot as a person, as a friend when the show started filming. Like, I think she sold her soul to the devil because she wants to be famous.
1000%. That is clear as day. Kristen is clocking her right and left. Kristen Doute is a professional reality TV star at this point. She has been on reality TV for 12 years. She's, had great moments. She's had terrible moments. She's been through it all. She can spot this from a mile away. She knows exactly what Janet is doing. She is calling her out about it. And it is so clear. It is so clear. And I mean, really, what else? Yes, they talked about that ring rumor for 2 seconds, but the rest of their storyline, the entire season, has been about other people. Of course, they continue to perpetuate the Danny versus Nia stuff. She's like, well, if you put your hands on women, I'm going to have to bring it up. And it's like, yes, I get that what he did was not good. I say that every single week.
Right. Every week we're like, we're not supporting this behavior. Okay, let's make that clear.
She's like, this is sexual assault. I'm not going to just sweep it under the rug. And everybody's like, who's sweeping it under the rug? Nobody has swept it under the rug. This has been confronted head on multiple times. What else can we do but move forward? Everybody else is ready to move forward, including Jasmine, but you. And it is just like, she continues to double down and use this term. And even Andy's like, look, chill out with using this legal term because this is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and I think Kristen said it best. Like, guys, can we just agree to leave the legal stuff out of it? Like, it's getting too complicated with all these cease and desists and throwing out, legal terms and like threatening people's livelihoods. It's like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to watch that. And even I will say I struggled through a lot of episodes of this season of The Valley because it was just like too dark. And I just I don't enjoy watching people get their lives ruined like for entertainment value. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. I really don't for season 3.
Yeah, well, I know for one thing, I think for season 3, we need Jesse's girlfriend on the show because part 3 basically ended with this whole unseen moment from the finale. Jesse's girlfriend showed up to Yamashiro to film or to the finale after cameras were down. She got into some altercation with Michelle that Michelle won't talk about because she says that her lawyers told her not to. And then Jesse's girlfriend is now coming out and saying like She never sued anybody. She basically told Michelle to not, portray her as like a bad parent or like a liability to children or something like that. So I don't know. There was never a lawsuit. She never told her not to say anything. And in fact, what she is saying is that Aaron, Michelle's boyfriend, inappropriately touched her while he was drunk at the finale party. It's like, oh my God, here we go again. Um, but I don't know. I'm this girl is kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Like, do you want to be a part of it? Do you?
Yeah.
Like, you show up to a filmed event. Yes, the cameras are down. They try to pick back up, and Jesse's like, whoa, 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 don't do that. Like, I'm with Andy on this one. You're on a reality show. Your girlfriend shows up to the event. I would throw a mic on her and press that red light because, like, be real. Be real.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see if they'll even be together still after what Brittany was saying, like she doesn't even like Jesse. It seems like she's very much tiptoeing around the edge of everything, but like also like is she dating him just to be a part of the conversation? So it's very confusing, but you're either in or you're out.
It's very confusing. Speaking of confusing, are you ready to jump into Orange County? Because we have a lot to unpack here, and a lot of illegal acts, as Shannon would say, more illegal acts to uncover.
More criminal behavior.
Yes. Okay. So let's jump over to OC. The women are still in New Orleans. We start off with a trolley ride with Gina, Heather, Gretchen, and Jen. And then Emily takes the troublemakers, Shannon and Tamra, to Cafe Du Monde for some beignets. Shannon, of course, throws a fit because Katie's supposed to go with them. She doesn't want anything to do with Katie. And no offense, like, I gotta get your thoughts on the Shannon and Katie thing. A lot of people think she's overreacting. Katie was like, you literally filmed an entire season with Alexis Bellino, who was suing you for $75,000, and you can't be in the same room as me. Like, come on. Like, do you think that Shannon is blowing this whole Katie thing out of proportion? Or where do you stand with that?
I mean, Katie made a good point there. I think she is probably blowing it out of proportion. However, I get that like this is fresh. And so Shannon's just pissed, and she just doesn't want to be around her. I think she takes it too far when she's like, she is dangerous. Like, I'm sorry, Katie's not dangerous. Like, is she kind of a snake? Yeah. Is she a liar? She's proven that, yes, she has lied, but like, she's not going to harm you. So, yeah, it's both for me.
I mean, maybe not physically, but maybe like mentally, emotionally. I don't know. Like she may harm your reputation too, according to the word on the street this episode. But
Yeah.
um, you know, at this point, we actually get this sit down with Tamra and Shannon, while Emily is dusting off her powdered sugar, after the beignets, where they kind of actually make up. And for a second, I really thought it was genuine because, we have Tamra basically apologizing, saying how she looked in the mirror and realized that when she drinks, she gets to a really low point. She gets nasty. So I don't really drink anymore. I have one drink and then I'll be done. I was really surprised by this. Shannon's, a little bit hesitant, but it looks like they're kind of on the right path. Did you think that Tamra was genuine in this moment? Because I did.
It's so hard because, yes, I do think she's genuine, but then it's like we have to remind ourselves that we've been here before, right? And Tamara's really good at apologizing. She is. She's really good at saying sorry, saying I messed up, saying that she's going to do better. And here's how she's going to do it. And here's the steps she's taking. And so, like, I want to believe that. But I mean, we see that that's not what happened.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have Jen with the other ladies who is I guess I didn't clock this last week, but Jen doesn't even know the fatty photo that has been going around about her. She hasn't seen
She
it.
hasn't seen it.
She has no idea what she looks like in it, but she's like, all I know is that this was probably a moment where I was at home raising my kids, focusing on that. Like, poor Jen. I feel like Jen is really, like, obviously we get into bigger issues in this episode. Jen tries to bring up the fatty photo at the very end, and obviously shit hits the fan, but justice for Jen. I feel bad for her that it's all floating around about this photo, yet she knows nothing about it. She doesn't even know what she looks like in it.
I know, but honestly, who cares? Like, you are a beautiful woman. Like, who cares what photo it is that she's showing people? We all have terrible photos of us from years past. Do we want them going around? No, but like, it is what it is, just be confident and own that, like, yeah, I went through a phase like that. Look at me
But like
now.
what? There's no phase that she's even going
No, you're
through.
totally right.
She looks great in the photo, and she just doesn't know it yet. So
She just wasn't like styled appropriately or styled the best and like didn't have lip filler yet. So
yeah.
no, there's nothing wrong with how she looked.
No. Okay, so we go to this voodoo place, right? And I did not expect to happen what we actually got at this voodoo place with this woman and the people who wanted to participate and not participate. Like, I I'm sorry, but like them being offended by the whole voodoo thing, I guess Gretchen is very religious. And if you're very religious, I guess this is not your thing. But like, come on. Like, is it really that? Is it really the devil's work?
I, listen, who am I to say? But I think it was an opportunity to kind of make it about herself when, Gretchen was like, oh, I don't want anything to do with this. And then Shannon was like, no, me neither. And then Tamra probably saw that opportunity. No, I'm a Christian girl or whatever. So the three of them sit out, and then Bloody Mary woman is like, well, if you're observing, then you're a participant. And they're like, okay, we're out of here. So what an interesting thruple that left, as Gina pointed out, because Tamra and Gretchen hate each other. Tamra and Shannon barely just made up. So it is fascinating that those three kind of walked out together and then kind of bonded over this moment of like not wanting to participate in voodoo.
Totally. And then, of course, Katie gets brought up into the conversation. I was laughing out loud when Shannon continues to go after Katie. Do you want to be friends with somebody who commits illegal acts? And Gretchen clocks her immediately. In all fairness, Shannon, you got a DUI, and that is illegal. So
I screamed when Gretchen said that.
I mean,
Gretchen, like, that was so savage, but also very true.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing I like about Housewives, like Gretchen. You tell it like it is, and you can clock somebody and say something like that without making it into a big thing. Are they enemies now? No, but Gretchen clocked her, Shannon took it, and they moved on.
I mean, what is Shannon going to say to that? Like, she probably needs to rethink her angle of, yes, calling out that she doesn't want to be around Katie because she commits illegal acts. Well, so do you. So it was just, oh my God, it was too good. Like, that was phenomenal.
It was so good. And then Tamra drops this bombshell on us. Okay. And it all ties back to Kiki Monique. So we know that Katie had lunch with Kiki and apparently said horrific things about Tamra that Tamra has been holding on to for months. And apparently Katie said that Gretchen told her that Tamra roofied her the night of Naked Wasted. So, have you seen the clips going around about like Naked Wasted and then like Tamra's son's involvement?
Well, all I remember is that Tamra was like encouraging Ryan to like hook up with Gretchen, right? Like they were trying to get Gretchen really drunk. And then she was like, you need to try and hook up with her because they were trying to prove that Gretchen was not really in a relationship with Jeff, right?
Yeah, and then
Okay, what did I miss? What else did I
no, no, you got it. But there's this scene where they like he follows her into the bathroom, closes the door, and is kind of like we can't see anything, but we hear them. He's kind of pressuring her, like, let's hook up, let's hook up. Gretchen's like, no, no, no. And then finally he leaves. So I don't think anything happened, but Gretchen is definitely drunk. Like, if you look back at it, it's not good. It is not good. I encourage you guys to go back and watch the scene because it's not good. Now, am I saying that Gretchen was roofied? No.
No, and
Uh,
Gretchen has never claimed that.
no. And she 100% clocked it again when she's like, you know, that is one of the first things I would have brought up against you if I said that. Why would she be saying that to other people and not to Tamra's face? They've clocked each other about everything else. So why would she leave that on the table? And Tamra said she's gotten told by two different people that Katie said that Gretchen said this. So
I know. I had to follow. It was like Kiki Monique, or Katie told Kiki Monique that Gretchen told her that Tamra. I'm like, wait a minute. This is like too many names going around here. But what I don't understand is if Kiki didn't tell Tamra, she's saying that it was two other journalists. Like, I don't understand who else was at this lunch, or is she implying that Kiki Monique shared this with two other journalists? The whole thing is very muddy, and Gretchen is taking in the information. She's obviously like appalled by it because she's like, I actually never said that. But she also has in the back of her mind, is it possible that this is Tamra manipulating the situation and trying to kind of drive a wedge between Gretchen and Katie and get Gretchen's trust back, like earn Gretchen's trust back? And I think Gretchen's smart to kind of question that.
I definitely do too. I need to hear from Kiki Monique because from what I assume, I think that Kiki heard this and maybe went to Tamra because, like they keep saying, this is an illegal act. She is being accused of an illegal act. So I don't know. Like, just this is just what I'm assuming happened. Like, Kiki and Katie had lunch. Katie maybe said something about this. Kiki then brought it up to Tamra to kind of warn her that this might be coming up. And then that's where it kind of, went. So I don't know if that's true. That's just what I am guessing. But I don't know why Katie would make this up. I guess I do kind of know why Tamra would make this up. But I feel like they both have a little bit of a motive here. I'm not sure.
Well, and that's the part that's so difficult for me as I'm thinking about this and like who is lying and who's not lying, because we all know Katie has proven that she has a complicated relationship with the truth. Okay. We also know that Tamra has had a complicated relationship with the truth, and that Tamra has been known to kind of manipulate situations. So I'm like, I don't know who to believe, but Katie certainly has not done herself any favors because we've caught her lying time and time again in just the couple seasons, in her second season. Like, we've already seen that she does lie about things. And so it's a tough one.
Yeah. And it's like, it's history already repeating itself because we have Tamra calling Katie out about talking to the blogger or calling the blogger, the Bravo babe, consoling her about Tamra's lawsuit. Katie denied that, said it wasn't true, had pretend amnesia, then came out and said, oh, yeah, it was
I
an
Instagram called her.
So now we have that happening, that same thing happening yet again, where Tamra is accusing Katie of talking to a blogger about something and Katie is denying it. Is it then going to come up in 2 episodes? Katie's like, Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually did say that. So I don't know. I really don't know whose side to be on. I don't trust Tamra by any means, but I don't trust Katie either. I think people are just defaulting to Team Katie because they dislike Tamra so much. But I'm not jumping over there just yet.
Same, same. I feel like there's not really a winning team here. It's all just messy. Katie, of course. Okay, so sorry, let me back up. So it is interesting how all of a sudden Tamara and Shannon are like buddies again, right? We see Shannon's getting ready. Tamara knocks on the door. She comes in. She's like, "What are you doing with your hair? Let me fix it. Let me brush it for you." You know, they're kind of back into their antics. And it's just like, wait, weren't you guys like fighting like, yesterday? It's just like hard to keep up for me. And Tamra appears to be drinking some champagne, I think, in a cup. And Shannon says, "What are you drinking?" And she says, "Water." Obviously, it's not water. So we just heard Tamra talking about how she's doesn't drink anymore. She doesn't, get wasted anymore. And so maybe this is her one drink of the night. Okay. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. And then they leave to go to the restaurant. Katie, Gretchen, and Jen stay behind. And Gretchen confronts Katie about this situation. And she says, "Did you tell Kiki Monique, this blogger, that I said that Tamara roofied me?" And Katie says, "Absolutely not." She denies it. And Gretchen, it seems like her and Gretchen are kind of friends, like they have a history. And so Gretchen is leaning towards believing her friend over Tamara, who's been her sworn enemy for the past 15 years.
Yeah, I think, she's like, "Oh, Slade said that this isn't something that Katie would do." Do we really know Katie that well yet? These women have just met this woman. I don't really think that they can make that assumption about her actions when
But that's what I'm saying. Like, do they have a history that like we don't know about?
no, I don't think so. No, I think they met through the show. I think that they yeah, I mean, did they know each other before they even started filming? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm sure, Katie hit her up in the DMs.
Yeah.
She's very DM happy. Um, so yeah, I just don't know. But they all arrive at dinner and it completely blows up because Tamra thinks when she leaves that conversation with Gretchen earlier, she thinks she's won. She thinks she has everybody on her side. She thinks that she's made Katie out to be the villain once again. But when she hears that Gretchen is now believing Katie that she never said that and thinks Tamra is now making it up, shit hits the fan. And meanwhile, Tamra can barely open her eyes because we learned that she's mixed Xanax with her, I guess maybe one glass, maybe more of champagne. And
Well, that's the assumption, right? That's what Gina was like. It seems like that's what happened.
no, Tamara came out today and
Oh, she did?
confirmed
Okay.
that is what happened.
I'm always
Yeah.
behind Kim. I don't know how you keep up with it all. That is why you are Bravo Breaking News.
Yes, so it was Xanax mixed with drinks. And yeah, I think that, while everybody is now sided with Katie, Shannon isn't on Katie's side by any means because Shannon uses this moment to then blow up on Katie like, "Congrats, your excuses worked. You got out of this one. Like, you've hurt everybody. Stop lying. I can't stand you. You're the leak from the bottom to the top." Like, oh my God, Shannon will never get over this. And part of me doesn't blame her, but part of me, like, Shannon, I don't think that this is supposed to be your moment. I think we should be focusing on another matter at hand.
No, it's not supposed to be her moment. And then we have Jen chiming in. "You know what? Let's just get it all out there. I want to know what picture you're showing." And it's like, it was such a Brittany from Salt Lake City moment. What about me?
So true.
It's
It's like,
no one cares about the picture right now.
Jen, sit down. Do not bring this up right now. Like they are pretty much like questioning like where's the proof? We need proof on either side. Gretchen explains she's struggling because she's friends with Katie, and I Shannon is backing up Tamra at this point. She's like, multiple reputable reporters have come out and told Tamra this. Like, okay, who are the reputable reporters? Name them.
Name them.
Name
Name
them.
them.
We need it. We need the proof. Like, this is too. There's too many factors at play. And I don't know. And then they go resort back to the photo. Then they're like, you know, that the photo isn't even the issue. There's a bigger issue. Gretchen's like, what's the issue? Tamra's like, shut the fuck up, Gretchen. Like, Tamra is out of control, but like she is just barely there at this moment.
No, and she gets pissed because then Gina calls her out and says, "You're sloshed." And, that's when Tamara feels backed into her corner. And what does she do when she gets backed into her corner? She flees. You will never see my face again. And so she just leaves, and Heather tries to go and talk to her, and she starts insulting Heather. And it's like, dude, that's the one person that has had your back. So I don't know what your plan is there. But she just wants to get out of there. She sends Gina a fuck you text and gets in a car, and she calls Eddie and is like, get me on a flight home. Posts on Instagram like, it's been a real. Peace out, guys. So she rage quits on Instagram, and, off she goes into the New Orleans night.
Off she goes. Like, look, okay, I know she's struggling. She was just in New Orleans with Teddy. It's bringing back some memories, and she's not doing well. I get it. I feel for her. But it almost seems like this is what somebody would do when when everything doesn't go to plan. You know what I mean? Like, this is looking like somebody that is guilty of doing something and trying to concoct this master plan. It doesn't go your way. Therefore, you're left with what else to just leave the situation. So I don't know. This moment definitely made me feel like Tamra was guilty. Katie was very calm. She was talking to Gretchen about the situation. They seem to be on the same page now. So I don't know. I guess now talking it through, I don't know. I'm more suspicious of Tamra at this point. But making something like this up about yourself seems absolutely diabolical.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't think if she made it up, I don't think she made it up from scratch and then ran with it. I think things get twisted in conversation. It's always a game of telephone with who said what. Katie probably said something similar. Maybe she didn't use the word roofied, but that's what she was implying. And that got interpreted a certain way and then told to Tamra, and Tamra interpreted it a certain way. So I feel like it's never quite black and white when there's all of this, like, he said, she said, well, it's all she said, she said, she said. It's just like something's going to get misinterpreted or lost in translation. And I think that's what she took and then was like, how can I use this to my advantage? Because she did sit on it, right? She sat on it for a few weeks and kind of waited for her moment. So yeah, I guess now I'm kind of talking myself into maybe she did kind of put it out there to use it as an advantage.
She seems to have a lot of these things about Katie in her back pocket that she's choosing to like bring out at a time that like suits her, or maybe when the storyline's getting a little drab, she's like, okay, well, maybe I'll bring out this thing that I have filed. So it's starting to become a little suspicious on Tamara's part for sure, but I still have it stuck in my head that Katie is the one who doesn't end up going on the cash trip. So obviously, even though right now, like, people are pissed at Tamra comes back to the show, and then Katie is actually the one that doesn't finish out the season. So I I don't know. I am very confused, but I'm sad. I definitely
Yeah,
want to know what happens.
it is a fun ride to be on. I will say that.
Yeah, I feel like last night was kind of a 10 out of 10 episode, even though it was very dark. Tamra just squinting at that table, storming out, attempting to quit, bringing up 15 years ago storylines with a cast member who has just been brought back as a friend of, like, that's Housewives for you.
And honestly, and it made you think. We are talking through things. We are critical thinkers, and that is cinema, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yes. And that's it for this week's episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Whose side are you on, Katie or Tamra? Let us know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram at Bravo Breaking News and at Lisa Not Renna. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.